Hi guys, many time I got a requests for interview preparation for an spring. So we are just releasing this particular video is for just interview preparation for a spring. So majorly the person want to understand why we are using an spring, what is the core concepts and how much you are comfortable to understand the concepts, right? So first thing why we are using a spring, so we should know that the requirement of an spring, different modules are a spring, then what is the different configurations are available. Apart from that, if you are talking about spring core, so then also need to understand how the bean life cycle works. Okay, how what are the different types of scopes are there, then what is the auto wiring or wirings basically. Then when we are talking about MVC, then this view resolvers, or maybe if you're talking about REST controller, so how the REST controller request mapping, these concepts are working here when we are sending a request. So you should know that basic flow. So the flow basically will start from when we are submitting a form, how this submitting a form, then it will the request will come to a controller and then business logic and then database layer. Then when we are sending a response back to a page, then how where it is getting resolved, that if it is a JSON data or page views like that, that is you need to understand the flow. Also you need to understand how the spring configuration is getting loaded here, what is the entry point here, what are the different things we specify, right? Apart from that, what is the IOC, what is the spring injections are there in spring injection, what is the different use for constructor based or maybe a property based injections. So these injections details you should know it properly. Then if you're talking about AOP is really good concepts. You need to understand what is the AOP, why we are using an AOP, what are the advices, joint cuts, point cuts, right, aspects, any other scenario we have used the AOP, how you can implement the AOP. Then transaction management, if you are talking about spring transaction management, then also you need to know that how you can configure the transaction management through a springs, right? Then also there is a different JDBC templates are there, why we are using it in transaction management, what are the things and classes you configure it, what are the API classes you generally use it, right? Then AOP, when you are talking about AOP, so how you can use and configure the AOP, that is also you need to know how you can use the logging through AOP. Then Spring Security, OR2, or maybe filters, how you can use it. ACGI security, not exactly very much popular, but still you should have some idea about the spring security, spring batches, how spring batch works, right? Then spring security also you should know it at some certain level, how we can use that authentication authorizations or how we can get that filters. So these are a security concepts, you should be very much familiar with that. Transaction management is generally very much preferable, people are asking, because it is day-to-day basis a requirement, how you can control different isolation levels, transition propagations and all other transition properties, how you can configure it, how you can configure the data sources, how you can use it, and how you can apply the transaction at the business layer or DAO layer, or how you can use it. These are things you need to know. When we are calling any other third-party APIs, how you can use through a Spring. If you can use that, there are some validations in the pojos or maybe in beans when we are using MVC. So in models also, can we use these validations? Yes, we can. That is, we should know it. Apart from that, wiring and other things we already covered it. Now Spring Boot is very much interesting concepts and support that Spring has launched it. So you should know how Spring Boot works, what are the advantages of Spring Boot, what are the different facilities we can use through a Spring Boot. So you should be very much comfortable with the Spring Boot as well. So these are basic questions you should know about the Spring configuration, bean life cycles, Spring scopes, Spring why, what is the difference between that Spring scope, a singleton as well as a singleton class, like that. Then also there is a different classes which is available or which is used for a spring life cycle, that is we should know that, or particular methods which is used in the spring. So these are different contexts or maybe application context and bean factory difference. So these are basic questions, you should be very much prepared for it.